Imagine being able to build an app.
You don't want to listen to an ad. I mean, you already probably had to listen to an ad. I need to get the audio playing on the music. It was not cooperating this morning, so I have to wait for my partner to get back with the dog so I can get some sounds in. Good morning, everyone. I am so glad to be here. CR213. I finished. Good morning, HB. Oh, it's just us right now. I finished the telepathy tapes deep dive script. I'm so happy. I wanted to film today, but we are having the contractors come back to finish the windows, and I think they're going to be too loud. So I am hopeful that I should be able to film tomorrow and then edit Thursday and Friday and hopefully get it out no later than Sunday. That's the goal. Hopefully sooner. If anything changes today and I'm able to film today, even better, but I'm trying to be realistic with my timeline. Man, it feels so empty in here without the music on. I feel like I have to fill the silence. As soon as Monty gets back, I'll figure out why this isn't working and get something going. Hey, Roman, good morning. HB, that's awesome. I'm so excited to listen to the rest of the, listen to more of the podcast now that I got the next episode done. Or the first episode of season 2 done. And I feel like the first one's the hardest. Like the first and the last one are the hardest, right? The first one just to get going, and then the last one in effort to summarize everything we've learned in a season, for instance, are the hardest. So I'm hopeful that the rest of them will go a little bit more smoothly and quickly, especially because I had all that travel. And then I was going to paint that yellow. I don't know if that's a flower or not. Just had a whole bunch of things going on that I will not have going on anymore. So hopefully it'll be good. Animal telepathy. Oh, I'm so excited. Have they talked about plant telepathy yet? Or not plant telepathy, plant communication yet? Because I really want to use my brother-in-law's plant wave and listen to my plants on Alive. Also, HB, I have your book. We're gonna read the next chapter today. But I really want to pull out the plant wave. Let's do 523 when we get to that episode, because I'm pretty sure there's an episode on plant communication. Sorry if you can hear my neighbors downstairs. I can hear them playing with their baby. HB and Roman, how are you? How has your week been? How was Monday and Tuesday? Everything is consciousness. I know, it's so exciting. When I spent all day writing and editing and rewriting and just really trying to polish up the script and hopefully make it better and just improve my writing. And I learned so much, and I'm so excited to have a thorough excuse to research telepathy, or not telepathy, but consciousness as a whole, whether it's animals or plants or NDEs or whatever. In my research, I found out about all of these organizations. There's the After Death Communication Research Foundation, and there's also the Other Consciousness Experience Research Foundation, which just studies the consciousness acting abnormally in anything that's not a near death experience or about communication. So, anything else, things that happen in meditation, things that happen when you're tripping. Hi, babe. Boy's back. Hey, Andy. Okay, wait, you said watched. Are we watching something? Is there visual components fully now? I know that's something they talked about, but I did not. The first episode, I just listened to it on Apple Podcasts, so I did not visually see anything. Andy! Play Halo campaign. No, I feel like there's probably enough other people online doing that for you to watch. Sorry, kiddo. Okay, so it is just subtitles. All right. Well, I'm sorry, Devin. I don't play video games like that. I'm sorry. I just don't really play video games that much. Anyway, okay, so you guys are just listening to it. There's not a visual component yet. I think that once I get, actually, I might do it today before I film tomorrow, just because I can while the contractors are here. But I hope to catch up and listen to everything and kind of see where it's going before I get the second one out. I'm just really excited to get the next one done. Thanks, Devin. I appreciate your understanding. Weather pleasant, not too cold. That's wonderful. Oh, you have the week off. That's exciting. What for? Any reason? Um, Also, I broke my favorite coffee mug. No one probably remembers it except for HB, but it had art throughout the history and it had all these amazing artists and it was lovely, but I dropped it last week. So this is my Big Ten coffee mug. Well, our Big Ten coffee mug. Hi, I could not get sound to come out of that. I turned everything on.
No, you didn't.
I thought I did.
No, you didn't.
Okay, well, I tried. Thanks, HB. Oh, hi, Asia. Welcome back. Hi, Kathleen. Are you new here? Tell who I said hi. I missed that one.
First, second.
I thought it was right, left. Okay, we can go over that later.
Second, first, second.
Yeah, we'll go over that again later. Thank you. Me, I can see you. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Are you new? I haven't seen you here before. Also, Asia, how have you been? It's been a really long time since we've seen you. Sorry, slimy puppies. What am I? I am a human. Coloring. About to have some music playing in the background. About to share a little bit from HB's book in a minute. What are you? Glad you appreciated that, Roman. Sorry, there's a lot going on this morning. Oh, I am not drawing. I am just coloring a coloring book page. It gives me something to do with my hands when the chat is quiet. And so I don't feel like I'm just sitting here. Let me figure out where my audio is. Just a sec. It's coming. Okay.
You didn't have the right channel.
Okay. Having a job is seriously so scary. Like, what if I never get fired? Wait, are you saying you want to get fired? What are you saying with that, Asia? Also, Roman, what are you doing off? Any particular reason? Let's do Y423. I mean, having a job's terrifying, because what if you do get fired, and what if you don't get fired? All the things. Hey, Knight. There's the sound. I haven't seen you in forever either. Hold on, I'm going to get the album so you guys can see it. It's this one. Again, by my friend Zach. Everything is in the description box, as always. What's Poppy Day, Kathleen? I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is, Kathleen. Hey, Archangel Michael. Haven't seen you in a while either. How are you? Turns out going vertical is apparently a good idea. It's made this a little bit more active today. Chillin'. Good. Also, Andy, how are you? Snuck in and out. I referenced God's Eye View in the script for episode 1. Gave you a little shout out to say thank you, Andy, for kind of introducing microtubules to me. Well, I use this brown and I don't really have anywhere else to put it. Oh, it's a Canadian thing. Oh, well, I am not Canadian. I am American. So we don't celebrate Poppy Day. So I don't know what anyone wears for Poppy Day. What did you wear? I'm doing an easy photo this morning so that I can pause to read from HB's book. Just a heads up for everyone. Okay, let's do... We're gonna have to bring in another green, I think. Yeah, I did 5, 2, 3, so let's do... Two. Maybe. And why can't I not find this marker? America too, but I'm on the other side of America. Well, you're right, obviously. Sorry, I am US. I'm North American. You know what I'm saying. I'm not Canadian. I'm from the United States. Where is this? But you're funny. That's just so true. You were wearing your soldier badge and your soldier stuff because you had to go on stage until What's Remember to Say, because I had to go on stage until What's Remember to Say. So you had a stage performance. Okay, wait, you guys do Poppy Day in England. And it's 11/11. Wow, that's cool. Today is 11/11 is my friend's wedding anniversary. Not that that means jack to anybody, but that is about the extent of my connection to the date, I guess. I just saw this marker. I just saw it. There it is. Okay. Oh, don't worry about it, Knights. I get it. We're American too. I do love that. I was just thinking Canadian, not American. US American. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Weird little gap there. All right, this screen is going to be used for the grass. It's a little bit darker, but it'll dry lighter. Oh, you're the best, Kathleen. Thank you. I didn't realize that Poppy Day. I've never even heard of Poppy Day, but I once you mentioned it and said that it was Canadian, I didn't realize it was something that even happened in other countries. Can I ask, do you guys know why poppies? Why is it referred to Poppy Day? And is that the national flower or something? I have focus here just a little bit. Okay. You're live on your other phone, and your drawing looks beautiful. Thank you. Uh, what do you mean you're live on your other phone? You mean you're going live? Hannah. Poppies are for veterans that have passed. Thank you. Of course you know that. So that's why it's called Poppy Day then? Masterpiece. Thanks. That's so cool, Kathleen. Thank you for sharing. I had no idea. The more you know. All right, let me finish this section before I get streaks because I'm getting distracted. Wow, that's neat. Flanders. The poppies grew in Flanders. Look at you, so smart. Thanks for educating me, everyone. All right, I think I want to make something else green. It doesn't feel right. I guess that's what I'm asking. Like, if you're saying you're on live, do you mean like you're on live, like you're on live, or you're watching me on live? And if you're on live, what are you doing? Yeah, interesting. What do you do on your lives, Kathleen? Shibby, hey. I saw your messages yesterday. Thank you for the kind words. Um, I'm so excited. I finished the script for the first episode of the deep dives for season 2 of the telepathy tapes, and I know I said this in my comment to you, but it's all about near-death experiences. So I learned a whole bunch, and I'm really excited to talk about it. So getting your message yesterday about that was very cool. Thank you. Also, good morning, Hannah. All right. We're going with a dark teal here. It'll, as always, dry a little lighter. Hannah, why don't we do poppies in the US? Is that just because we do like Memorial Day and stuff? Hey, buddy. You want more food? You're so tired because you woke up so early for school today. Yeah. Do you need more food? You're standing right in front of the camera. You have a big old puppy dome. Yeah, you're alive. I hear you. Do you need food? What do you need? Oh my goodness, I can't keep getting up. What do you need? What do you need? You're good. You're good. You're good, big guy. I also I put my office back together a little differently after the windows were done this week. Mm. So the background in my videos on the telepathy tapes is going to be a little back or a little different. You do talking about soldiers, really? How cool! Hey, Tara. Good morning. How are you, girl? How's Ohio? I I'm excited. I'm really excited about getting season 2 going. I am a little antsy on how and where to find the time and the ability, but I think that researching consciousness for such an extended amount of time for the love of learning is going to be really impactful for me. I think this is what I'm meant to be doing. Oh, cool. Thanks, Shibby. So to answer that question, so the background's not terribly different. I basically have a cabinet full of art supplies that was in our guest room, and I moved that cabinet to my office, like my studio office, behind where I sit, and the plants are now setting on top of it, and there's a few less plants, so it's not like a full-on jungle back there, but it was just starting to feel a little suffocating when working in my office. Like it was like everywhere you turned around, you kind of got smacked by a leaf. And on one hand, that's really lovely, but on the other hand, it just felt, yeah, claustrophobic. So I had to rearrange a few things, but it's similar, just a little different. It definitely gives me like ability to breathe a little bit easier in that space, which is important if I spend all my time there. Okay. Gothric, morning, friend. How are you? Ohio therapy, we are doing. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, bye, Kathleen. Thanks for coming. I hope to see you soon. Thanks, Shibby. I think it'll still look natural. You're still gonna like it, I think. I just had to adjust some things. I just had to. There was no way around it. I was going to lose my mind if I didn't give myself a little bit of breathing room in there. All right, so we're almost done with the base of this. And then, what's up, humans? And then we can move on to HB. I'm very excited. All right, so these things look like radishes to me. And then I've got the bird and I've got the letters. Gothic, how are you? Also, speaking of what's up, humans, I've not watched Homeboy in a minute. Pavel and see with Tebow, even though I probably say his name once a day. 107. This is what I want. All right, we're going to do red, and it's going to be a little weird, and I'm excited. Okay, so something about me. I like color. I also love not color. I love black. I love white. But I also love color. And I love intentionally clashing colors. And I don't know how to make that sound right, but I used to be a fashion stylist when I lived in New York City. And I worked doing the window displays for New York City for all of the Uniqlo stores when they first came to the United States. And they are all about color, and they were all about being adventurous with color. And so I got the opportunity to really challenge myself with odd color combinations, etc. And it's always stuck with me. I've always loved it. It doesn't always work. Half the time I do something and I'm like, oh, never mind. But that's the fun of experimentation, right? Getting to try different things. Oh, you love the mailbox. Chaos agent, right? Thank you. We are expecting an important package today, so it made me think of the mailbox. My partner ordered some sort of musical instrument, but not a traditional one, like some electronic something, and I don't fully understand it, but he's very excited, so I'm very excited. All right, let's do I need to do these? Yeah, screw it. We're going to do red and pink here. I don't care. Why not? Also, speaking of this, I'm a huge fan of snail mail. I know it's a huge pain in the ass to get to the post office, and most people end up doing that thing where you have to wait online. I'm lucky to have a printer and I'm able to do my postage at home, and so I can just like drop it and run. But I say all of that because I love sending and receiving snail mail. Like I used to, when I had more time and less hobbies, decorate elaborate letters and cards to send to my mom and my grandma, and I'd paper mache them and cut out things out of magazines and coloring books and sticker them and cover. Like if I did a box, I did the same thing. I would cover it. The USPS hated me because I was always making their job difficult by making things hard to see, but it was fun, and it reminds me of this. Hey, Brian, good morning. I don't know how to play the instrument. It's an electronic instrument. It's not mine. Hey, Adaya, I didn't see you. Is that how you pronounce it? Adya? You tell me. Shibi, maybe you answered it already, but what got you into consciousness research? Due to Kai or already before the telepathy tapes that triggered me into making videos about it? Great question. Also, yes, please like and sub, guys. Okay, no, please don't be sorry. This is wonderful. I love being asked these questions. It gives me an opportunity to think through the true answer, right? Like, what is it that spurred it in me and what is it that hooks me? But also gives me an opportunity to practice, like, I guess, my pitch. I have always been very interested in esoteric things. I've always been interested in UFOs and ancient mysteries. And then I wasn't hyper spiritual. I was just interested in these things. In 2021, I guess I kind of had a spiritual, I hate the word spiritual awakening, but for lack of a better word. And then I really dove into consciousness and I really dove into all of these things. So I was already interested in it when the telepathy tapes came into existence. And at first, I had not listened to them. I wasn't aware of them, XYZ. But my one of my best friends, Sam, was like on me about it. She was like, you have to listen to this podcast. You have to listen to this podcast. And I had kind of ignored her. And at the time, I was doing the Artist Way 12-week program, if anyone's familiar with that. And I was like week 8 or 9 in it. And I had like this epiphany that I wanted to make YouTube videos, that I wanted to make content talking about the things that I'm interested in, from consciousness to health and wellness to all sorts of things. And so I made my first video taking it seriously about panic attacks, because at the time I was going through them pretty frequently. And I was doing all of this research to try and help myself. And once I kind of figured it out, I thought I'll make a video to tell people what I learned and what I use. I really enjoyed doing that. And as I was doing that, I started the telepathy tapes. And the first time I heard one episode, I think I listened to like 4 in a row. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hooked. I ended up listening to the whole season in like 3 days or so, because I didn't start it until after it was all out. Or no, that's not true. I caught up until there was just like a few episodes left, and then I had to wait. But once it was done, I was like, I have to make a video about this. I have to. I have a nonverbal cousin. I have a stepsister who's autistic. I felt so upset by the news that there were all of these people that had a voice but weren't being heard, that I had to make a video. Like, I had to. There was something in me that was like, I felt like it was my part of my responsibility as a speaking person who had no idea that they were in there, that this was going on, that it was like, I need to use my voice to help them get their voice out. And so I made that first video, and it went well. And so it just went from there. And now I'm just looking at it as this amazing opportunity to research consciousness with a purpose instead of just researching it because I'm fascinated. And so Kai spurred the trajectory that I'm in, but I was already interested in consciousness. Yeah, exactly. I was already interested in consciousness. I was already interested in these concepts, which is why my girlfriend told me to listen to the podcast. So it all kind of happened at once, if that's a good answer, or an adequate answer. I was already interested when this was put into my purview, and it all kind of came together. What about you? I'm assuming, based on the fact that you've watched some of my videos and you're familiar with everything, that you are interested in consciousness as well. Oh no, I gotta flip the record. Hold on. Ugh, I'm gonna show it to you. It's really cool. It's black and white split. Yeah, I mean, nobody does, right? Nobody knows me in real life. Except for Hannah. Okay, look how cool this record is. This is, again, my friend Zach, and I show you guys all the time. His vinyls are so, oh, am I not in the camera view? His vinyls are so beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I've had a handful of experiences that have probably made me interested in these topics. There's my cousin and my stepsister, but also I have had some really wild woo-woo experiences with, so like I like to call, what is the word? What are my words? I talk to the universe a lot, if that makes sense. Yours happened in 2021, and you went from a hardcore materialist to having experiences, and then read and watched Bruce Grayson. I'm not familiar with Bruce Grayson. Tell me more. I read all sorts of weird books that did all sorts of things to me too. The Untethered Soul really opened me up in a big way. I'm actually rereading that now for the, I think, 4th time. I just think every now and then I need it as a tune-up to remind me of who I am and what I want. Yeah, I had all sorts of experiences too. And what I was saying with universe is that I will talk to the universe a lot. And after my awakening, for lack of a better word, a lot of trippy things happened that I couldn't explain, that ultimately I realized was just kind of a nod from the universe telling me that I was kind of on the right direction with my feelings and thoughts around this stuff. And I can't put it back in the box now. I don't know how to do anything normal. Yeah, exactly. Things that you can't disregard. I think that's what happens. I think that kind of once you wake up, whether it's the first time or the 8th time, nothing ever goes back the same, right? You can't ever unknow or unexperience the things that you experience in those times. And I think it just makes it so that you're like, all right, this is me. This is where I'm at. Hopefully everyone gets on board. I like that, HB. Exploring consciousness as a community. Should be Dr. Bruce Grayson, heart surgeon, I think. I suggest any of his videos he relates to about patients seeing things in the ER rooms he didn't know how to deal with, and mention how difficult the worldview shift, especially for doctors. Okay, that's right. You were asking me about NDEs and interviews. So, I currently do not have plans to interview. I'm not to interview anyone. I'm not against it. HB actually suggested that I try and get Dr. Hennessy on. I'm not against it, but I am wildly intimidated. I always feel like I am not smart enough to be in these conversations in tandem with someone else. Like these experts, like I'm just a girl who's interested in this stuff. I went to school for production. I did not go to school to study any of these things. I wish I had, but I didn't know at the time that this was something I was going to love. But the idea of speaking to these experts is very intimidating. And I'm such a baby channel, right? Like I lose followers as fast as I gain them. So I just need to gain some confidence in myself and in my channel, I think. And then I would love to broaden the scope into potentially interviews with people in these realms. I actually, while doing the NDE, I want to talk to my sister-in-law is a nurse, and I want to talk to her. She's a nurse. Well, she was an ER nurse. Now she does home hospice care. And she has never mentioned anything out of the ordinary, but I've also never asked her. So I think I'm going to have to ask her about her experiences and see what she has to say. I would love to talk to my aunt a little bit about my cousin and their experiences. He does not even use a talker. He used to have a spelling device, and he's in his 30s now. And he used to have a spelling device, I guess, and I didn't know him then. But at some point, he decided that that was too cumbersome, and he stopped using it. And this was a long time ago, so they were really big and bulky then, and they've improved since then, but he hasn't shown much interest. But they're trying to see if he's interested in kind of retraining on how to spell. And I'd love to just talk to my aunt about her experience. She has started listening to the telepathy tapes. She has not said that she feels like he is telepathic or that she's tested it or had any signs to say that he is. But he's minimally verbal, like he can say yes and no, and like single words at a time sometimes. Like the other day he was saying snow because it was snowing and that kind of stuff. So she asked him if he knew what the hill was, and he said yes. And she said, have you been to the hill? And he said yes. And she said, do you still go to the hill? And he said no. Very like with a lot of attitude, no. And so like that was the end of the conversation. And the only reason I can think he doesn't go to the hill is that it seems like there's a little bit more children there. And I think that because he's in his 30s, he's like, no, I don't go to the hill. It just made me laugh really hard. Seeing that she sent me a video of him saying, no, I don't go to the hill. All right, I think we are finishing up and it's about time to read. Could do a little background. But it's cute, huh? You've carried the water for Dr. Hennessy's work and Kai as much as anyone. HB, that's really kind. I will say everyone's talking about them, but I don't know that too many people, I don't know if anyone else has done like an episode by episode deep dive. Maybe they have and I just haven't seen it, but I haven't seen it. Yeah, I do talk about your brother's NDE in that episode. Okay, so about the baby channel, don't worry about it. I followed the channel The Y files, is that what you mean? Or WTF just happened? Oh no. WTF just happened from Liz. She started with a few followers and even got interview guests like Raymond Moody or Bruce Grayson. Really? I don't know who she is either. WTF just happened? I have to look that up. Hey, Fast. Good morning. Thanks, Shibby. Finishing it today. Walking on water. Yes, that's the next one. Oh, thank you, Shibby. I will... I'm going to open that over here. I will check her out. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. All right, I'm going to find this final color and do just a little bit of an outline. Then we're going to switch gears. We're going to read. I really appreciate the encouragement. I really do. I think, like I said, I'm still intimidated about the idea of even interviewing somebody. I just don't feel like I don't know. I'm intimidated. But we can do hard things. We can do scary things. All right, let's see. I'm going to do... why is this so tricky? Take care. Thanks for coming by, friend. I appreciate it. Okay, let's do. I'm struggling. Andy, what color do I do the background? Is it blue? I feel like it might be a blue, but like a teal to kind of bounce off the mailbox. All right, I'm going to pick this color. I'm going to refill my coffee. We're going to do the thing. Let's do... Sorry, I had to move this so I can see. Color is better. I really don't have very many blues. All right, we're going to do a gray just because I know I have them and I need to use them. So, let's do... We're going to do this color. Next, I'm going to nuke my coffee. Find my shoes. Cat red male, blue Dodgers, understood. Who is who? Okay. Record's still going? All right, hold on, guys. Might need the coffee. Okay, kids, let's do it. Ooh, gray is okay. Okay, thank you, Andy. All right, so we are going to do just a little... I want to do the outline on this. What time is it? 43 minutes? Okay, we're doing good. All right, I'm going to do... This might be a bad idea, but we're going to do it. You agree, HP. Good. Oh, I see. HP said that. Okay, cool. I would do a little gray day. That's okay. It's so satisfying. I wish that the lighting was a little bit better on the page, but I keep trying to improve. We'll get there. I saw... There's a channel called Telepathy. There's a channel called Wicked Mysteries, I think. It's a woman who talks about mysteries. And I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 videos of her so far. I don't know what her name is. But I saw a comment the other day on one of her videos where someone was like, I love the aesthetic of your videos. I love how it's bad lighting and not great audio, and you know, and just kind of like that it's unprofessional and raw and whatever. And she commented back and she was like, I think that this is a backhanded compliment, when like I know the person wasn't trying to say your stuff looks like crap. They were trying to say, I don't care that your stuff looks the way that it does. I really dig the natural like elements of your space and your recording. And it just made me think about, I gotta turn this thing. It just made me think of that. Oh, bye Tara, you too, babe. Made me think of myself and the criticisms I put on myself to have everything look okay or sound okay or whatever, just constantly trying to improve, you know? And so seeing that made me go, one, it's okay. People don't mind, first off, anything raw. Like, they're okay with that. But also, I don't know. It was just interesting. It was just something to be like, don't wait till everything's perfect. Just do the thing. You know? And that goes along with doing things as a small channel that maybe I'm intimidated by. Heat kicked on. Okay. We're getting through this pretty quickly. I'll be ready to read here in a second, and the heat will kick off. I don't normally do the backgrounds on camera because they're kind of tricky to get done without streaking. But I did a simple page this morning and it went quickly, and so I felt like I should do it, and now I'm scrambling. Can't hear my music, can't hear anything. Hey, fast. Is that me? I'm trying to be fast. I'm ready to read from your book, and I'm on a streak. There's a line. And my record's done. All these things are happening at once. Dead flowers. You're not dead. Okay. Man, how cool would it be if HB and Andy, you guys became telepathic? Without knowing each other, just like through these morning connections. I think that would be so incredible. Not that you guys want it. I'm wishing it upon you. Alright, we're almost done, almost done. Am I even on the screen? No. Closing the gap. Home stretch, home stretch. I did it! Okay, let's read. Enoch Brothers. You guys just saying things at me? Okay, where is everyone? It's time to read. Getting to your page. What page am I going to? Walking on Water, I found it. Okay. The record. Okay. Let's read, friends. So, this chapter from HB's book is called Walking on Water. It is the chapter after, was this right after your brother's NDE? But he wasn't out of it yet. He was just improving, correct? I think that's where we're at. All right, so I'm going to read kind of quickly because it's a long chapter. Bear with me. As I started traveling early the next day to pick up, also let me know if you can't hear me. As I started traveling early the next day to pick up my brother's wife, I thought to myself how God has waited to show his power to astonish everyone, including the hospital staff, as well as my family and friends. I called my sister-in-law so that I was on my way, and said that I was on my way and for her to have faith. About halfway there, she let me know that the doctors decided not to pull my brother off life support because of his improvement. I was overjoyed as she was, and I reminded her that we needed to keep telling him that he can do it, that God was protecting him, that I knew it was what a long road it would be if he recovered, and that there would always be tests for him, and that I would be there for him. As a reminder, HB's brother was having, I'm sorry, I don't recall, something was going on with his heart, and they had him on life support. They were preparing to take him off life support when HB began visiting him and talking to him and telling him how strong he was, how proud of him he was, and then his brother started showing signs of recovery. Mind you, I think your brother was like comatose or unconscious most of the time, so no one knew for sure if he could hear you, but then he showed you signs that he could. Okay, keep going. His wife was so relieved to see me that when I arrived to take her to the hospital, that I'm sure it was the first time she had something to smile about in over 2 weeks. The drive to the hospital was very upbeat, even though she knew that there could be a change at any moment, so I just kept reassuring her that God would protect him. Now reassuring the rest of the family would be a task. I needed a little help, and it was given to me. I greeted my brother the same way I had done the day before, and I was happy to see he had the same nurse as a smile emerged on his face when we entered. He told us that my brother was showing small improvement and was stable, and if we wanted to talk to him. As I proceed to tell another story of our childhood, I recalled very vividly a very funny moment that always made him laugh in the past. At that moment, the corner of his mouth smiled like when he laughed, and everyone noticed it. His wife had smiled, and the nurse's mouth was open in happy astonishment. I told them, he can hear me. He's really just tired. You're doing a great job, bro. Get your rest, and God has got you. We said goodbye to the nurse, who still had a big smile on his face when we left, knowing that this was a positive moment that would be told to doctors and gave the hospital staff a glimmer of hope. It was time to go to the waiting room with family and close friends. Skip. Okay. Hey, Pierced. I am reading part of HB's book, yes. I just started this chapter. It's the chapter after HB's brother's near-death experience while he was still in recovery in the hospital. Okay. My sister-in-law could hardly wait to tell the others that they were leaving him on life support and about his smile and his vital numbers that were getting better. It's hard to explain the look on someone's face of relief when you think all hope is lost. Emotions ran high, but there was still a very large mountain that he would have to climb, not only to survive, but to recover. He still had pneumonia as well as pancreatitis and total kidney failure. I trusted God with what he was showing me and kept reassuring everyone that my brother was tough and God would take care of him. It was overwhelming for many to even see him like that, so I made sure to give them what I believed was confidence and caring smile. I told my sister-in-law that I would like to go to church on Sunday so that I could ask everyone to pray for him, but I would go back with her on Monday. She was very grateful and thanked me as we both knew he had a long way to go. I stayed with my parents that night to save on driving the next morning, and I got up early so I could attend the adult Bible class in the church I grew up in. My mentor in Christ growing up, who was my mother's best friend, attended the class, so I knew that she would be delighted to see me even under such grave circumstances. I realized that the class may not know that my brother was left on life support, and so they would be anticipating the bad news. When I entered the classroom, a hush fell over everyone as they attempted a warm smile. So I lay my Bible down next to the pastor, and I looked up at everyone and, with a warm smile in return, announced that he was still on life support. The relief was very emotional, and everyone was very thankful for the news. I told them that with their prayers that this miracle had been fulfilled. I told them how, like Job, it was a test of faith and that we could pray to God for him to move this mountain. They were studying the book of Hebrews chapter 5 about falling away. One of the members said that she was worried about a friend's son who had married a Jewish woman and had converted to the Jewish faith that doesn't believe in Jesus as the Messiah. One of the members told her that there were Jews that believed Jesus was the Messiah, and I also said that Jesus' followers from the beginning were mostly Jewish. I found in my heart a slight pain as I thought about this, and I recalled the old sayings of my youth about the Jews the Jews had killed Jesus. As I remembered what the Roman Catholics and Martin Luther's vulgar comments about Jews resurfaced in my mind as I discerned anti-Semitism was where all of this was coming from in my heart. When we started to talk about God's promise to Abraham, an inspiration came over me to share what I had found by reading the Bible. I told everyone that I could see the entire thorough line of God's message about the blood sacrifice for our sins from Abel's blood sacrifice that was pleasing to God to Abraham and Isaac as a premonition of God's sacrificing his son, to the Passover sacrifice of Moses, all the way to God's final sacrifice for our sins in his son. As we studied about the new covenant declared by Jeremiah being put in our hearts and minds, I asked if that is what is meant when Jesus tells Nicodemus that we need to be born again. This is very difficult for me to read out loud because these words are not in my vocabulary. The pastor thought about it for a while and said, yes, we need to be reborn in spirit. The new covenant. I was asked by some in class where I had gotten my understanding of scripture, as many had known me from my childhood and were amazed at my understanding. I just smiled and told them that God taught me everything from my reading, and I wanted to know if what I had read and seen was true. It was a very enlightening day for everyone in the service. I asked for everyone's prayers for my brother. After the service, I drove to my best friend's mother home, and she and I sat and discussed my new revitalized faith and my brother's and family's struggles. I reminded her of the time that she was concerned about me not ever wanting to talk to my mother again because I was tired of the abuse. I told her, oh my goodness, hold on, I can't see this. I reminded her of the time that she was concerned about me not ever wanting to talk to my mother again because I was tired of the abuse, and I told her that it has to be about love or it's about nothing. I told her that God had shown me that nothing changed until I changed, born again, and followed this new covenant that his son taught, and that I found Jesus' teachings to be true. This was my chance to show the family what God's love can do. She was delighted and amazed, and I left feeling really good about what I had shared, but I knew I had one more day at the hospital, and I gave my family faith that God would take care of my brother. We're getting there, guys. All right. I picked up my sister-in-law early Monday, and she told me that the doctor had already called to tell her that my brother was still stable and showing slight improvements, so we knew we had to continue to reassure him that he was doing great and to keep going because God was protecting him. The nurse staff was very pleased to see us and let us know before we went to see my brother how much they appreciated us talking to him in this way. He had the same nurse as the first 2 days I was there, and it was good to see him again, and we greeted each other with a big smile. After he talked to my brother for about half an hour, his wife was telling him how much she loved him when all of a sudden I saw his eyelids start to flutter. As I got closer to him by the foot of the bed, his eyes suddenly opened and my brother was back. His wife was so excited she squealed excitedly and nearly climbed on top of him to be face to face with him. A big smile appeared on my face too as I was overcome with disbelief. Again, I said to him, "There he is, my hero, toughest guy I know." I looked over at the nurse and his mouth was wide open in disbelief. After the shock and amazement wore off, the nurse happily announced, "The lights are coming back on." The excitement of the moment lasted a good 5 minutes, and after his wife was finished telling him that she was so proud of him and that she loved him so much, it was my turn. As I made my way into the small space next to him and remade eye contact, I asked him if he could blink his eyes. He did, and I was happy, and I said, "One blink will mean yes," and he blinked again. I asked him if he was tired, and with one long blink, he let me know that he was. I said, "You're doing a great job, bro. You get your rest, and remember, God's got you." And with that, he blinked again and almost immediately went back to sleep. The nurse said that he needed to tell the doctor immediately and thanked us as we left to go to the waiting room. There wasn't any family there because of the stress from Saturday, and my mother was just having a hard time seeing her son in this state. So we texted everyone we know to let them know, but I told my sister-in-law that I would like to tell my mother personally. I told her that I was going to cancel my vacation, that I would come up to the hospital for the next 4 Fridays through Mondays. She gladly accepted my offer. A nurse came into the waiting room and told us that the surgeon and his staff were meeting in my brother's room and had an announcement to make to everyone. As we returned to his room, there were nearly 10 staff of the surgeon, administration, and nurses waiting for us as the surgeon went on to tell everyone of the breakthrough that my brother had made and that we had a long way to go, but to keep up the good work. And when he was done, everyone broke up into small groups and discussed the miracle that had happened as my sister-in-law went to my brother's side. But when I went up to the surgeon to ask him the burning question I really wanted to ask him personally. As the surgeon and I made eye contact, I said, "You took the left ventricle assist device and you put it in his right ventricle, didn't you?" This was something from the previous chapter. With a surprised look on his face, he asked who I was. I told him that I was his brother and that the valve that he put in was made by my company and that I have access to the videos of the operation, and I knew that that's not what he did. With a big smile, he told me I was right and was astonished that I knew that. He informed me that this procedure had been done before, but he had never done it. I told him that I felt that it was a risky cowboy maneuver and that he must not have had many options and he confirmed this. He felt comfortable letting me know just what kinds of procedures would be needed in the future, and also let me know of my brother's very low chance of survival. It shocked me to know, and I was worried for my brother, and I asked if he was sedated, and he told me no, so I knew my brother could hear him. As I was getting ready to tell him I didn't want to discuss this in front of him, I looked over at my brother, and I saw his eyes start to flutter again. I excitedly grabbed the doctor by the arm and said, "Hey, watch this." My brother's eyes opened again, and everyone in the room's mouths dropped wide open in astonishment. I looked over at the doctor, and his mouth was the widest. I said, "What do you think of that?" He couldn't take his eyes off my brother for a few seconds as the room was getting loud and excited and happy chatter, and filled with happy chatter, and he said, "I'll give his chances 50-50. I happily said, "I'll take it." He then went on to tell me that when the brain consciously makes connections, everything gets better. I asked him why, and he said he didn't know. I asked him what he made him think that putting the LVD in his right ventricle would work, and he smiled and pointed to his heart. I smiled and told him that's exactly what I tell people when it comes to making tough decisions. The ride back to drop my sister-in-law off was so excited that even though our reasoning told us that it was just the beginning of my brother's tough uphill battle just to survive, let alone trying to have any semblance to a normal life, I felt a deep satisfaction in knowing that God had let me help him and support them in their work and perseverance to come. I dropped her off and told her that I would see her Friday. It was like a huge weight had been lifted off of our shoulders, but now would come the work. When I went over to see my mother and stepfather, I told them the good news. They could hardly believe it, but they were as excited as my brother's wife and I were. I told them what the doctor had told me and that my brother had a very long battle for survival yet, but it was a major breakthrough. I asked them if it would be all right if I stayed with them Friday through Monday for the next 4 weeks to cut down the travel as well as help heal the hurt in the family. So my vacation trip was canceled so I could be with all of them. They said they would be happy to help me and my efforts, so it was a very good day indeed. Oh my goodness, HB. I may have to break here soon because this is a long one. Oh, that's enough if you want to stop for a minute. You just said that. Yes, his brother survived. Okay, so I'm going to put a bookmark here. I think that's a good spot. So the brother's eyes have started fluttering. HB's taking his sister-in-law back home. He's mending his relationship with his family as his brother is on the mend. And his brother's still with us today. So this story has a very good ending that's continuing to come, and we will finish this chapter next time. As I mentioned at the top of this video, 8 years ago, I felt like it was longer. I am ready to film the next telepathy tapes deep dive for the start of season 2. So you will hopefully see that video before you see me on live next. So in that case, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for always being here despite me messing with horizontal versus vertical, reading, coloring, whatever. You guys are keeping me going, and it means a lot. And HB, thank you so much for sharing your work with me, for trusting me, and for letting me read it out loud to the internet. It really means a lot. Andy, look for a shout out at the end of the video. Not that you care, I talk to you multiple times a week at this point, but I just want to give you credit for introducing that to me because it was really amazing. Human, not AI, absolutely. So, all right, kids, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and I'll see you next time, all right? Bye, guys.